Welcome to Inspiring Insurance. Our goal is to provide value to the insurance industry through real-life experiences from insurance professionals who have walked the walk. You can expect to hear story sharing, top tips, and practical advice to help you grow and succeed in your career. We hope you enjoy this episode's guest. Today's guest brings 18 years of industry experience, was named NEBA's 2024 Young Insurance Broker of the Year, is a director at Young Insurance Professionals, and balances life as both a broker and a mum. Joining me from Canberra as our first guest ever is Emily Srbinovska.
Hey Nathan, thanks so much. And it's an honor to be here, and I'm super excited to have a chat with you.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. I know you're a very, very, very busy woman, so I appreciate you taking the time today. But I thought it would be really, really good to connect with you. I'm so glad that you're going to be sharing this story with us today. So why don't you kick us off? I'd love to hear about your journey, how you got into insurance. Give us a bit of an overview.
Awesome. Thanks, Nathan. As you said, I've got coming up to 18 years experience actually, and I started as an assistant underwriter for CGU. I've always been somebody that's worked. Like as soon as I turned 9 months, I went and gave my resume out to the local shopping mall and handed out about 20 resumes and scored myself a job. And then once I realized I liked my own money, I was able to grasp that work ethic. And then I went through a series of jobs as a kid. And I was working in a call center, and I was literally just like hanging out on my mum's couch. And she was like, okay, like it's time to get a real job. Like I've set you up for this interview. It's with CGU, and she worked at NRMA at the time, which was on this in the same building. And I was like, yeah, cool, no problem. And so I went to the interview with like no real expectations. And I got the job, but I didn't really have any expectations for the career itself. As an insurance underwriter, as an assistant underwriter, I was literally just filing. And back then, I was filing like trolleys, hard copy files. Like there was none of this click on a yellow folder and file straight away. Like it took me a long time. And so I was able to learn all of the intricacies from policy and just be grasp that. And then once I realized I wanted to progress naturally, that's just who I am. There was a position available within 7 months working there as an underwriter. And so I asked my employer at the time, I'd like to apply for that position. And they said no, that I was too green. And I said, well, just, give me a chance. And they just said, no, like we're looking for somebody with a little bit more experience, somebody within the market. Because they were applying for an underwriter, which one of the responsibilities was to service brokers and to actually build the book and build new business as well, and do appropriate risk methodology and underwriting disciplines. And there was a whole suite of things that I technically wasn't exposed to at the time as an assistant. And so the job became available to apply for. So I just applied for it, and they had absolutely no choice but to interview me. And they threw me a few curveballs that I just couldn't answer. But ultimately, I wanted the job. I wanted it to stay in the team. I loved the area and the community, and I wanted to learn more. And so, they did give me that Guernsey, and I was able to prove myself. I loved working as an underwriter. I stayed there for 3 years until I got tapped on the shoulder by one of their competitors. And so I just turned 21 at the time, and the position available was senior underwriter. And I thought, well, sure, senior underwriter at 21 is pretty good on the resume. I'll give it a go. I was a little bit apprehensive at first because I was really enjoying the team, but that's where I feel like my career then took that next level, and I was able to look at underwriting nationally as well. I'd already known a lot of the brokers, so was being able to expand on my relationships with the brokers for another insurer. I then worked with that insurer to do senior underwriting. I did production underwriting, which is like a market-facing underwriter. I did some more BDM work, and then I actually ended up doing more account management work with larger national risk clients for that insurer. And then the journey continued, being tapped on the shoulder again by a broker here in Canberra. And they said, we really like the service that you give us, and that's the type of broker that we're looking for to give that service to our clients. We need like that level of energy. Like, what do you say? And yeah, so at that point, the next level for me was more people management. So I was like, okay, well, I'll learn broking now that I've got underwriting and all those technical skills under my belt. So I'll go out and learn broking. And almost 8 years later, here I am still, because it's actually where I found my true calling, and I just love it. I love it to pieces. Every day is different. And I don't know if it's because I do have a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old, but every day I wake up and I just have no idea what day it is. And I look at my calendar and I'm never upset. Like, I'm super excited. Every day I'm like, cool, I get to do this today. I get to do a survey. I get to like fix this claim. I get to go meet a new client. So in a long-winded way, yeah, that's my journey. That's where I'm at. The end of last year was potentially my like biggest year in my career, being named the honour and prestigious title of the National 2024 Young Broker of the Year with NEBA, and it's sponsored by Vero.
Oh, I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I love that story. You've obviously, your family's in insurance. You went through the insurance journey. You've had a really successful career in underwriting, broking, very, very holistic approach to insurance now. And through that, you've been able to win some awards, and you know, you're very, very busy with it. So congratulations. That's really, really exciting. Just on the awards, so anyone who might be looking to, you know, be part of the NEBA Broker of the Year awards, what would your top tip to them be around, you know, getting themselves nominated and going through the journey that you have?
The NEBA Young Broker of the Year journey is unbelievable. Like, it's not just you get nominated for an award and there's a milestone and then a celebration. It's actually a journey and an experience. So we're actually really lucky that the 5 state finalists get given a grant from Vero. That's up to $25,000. And we get to choose a community in Australia that's been affected by a weather-related event, and potentially a community that's been overlooked by the regular channels. So we can pitch to Vero to provide that grant to that community. And then we're really lucky to, and then last year we chose Cyclone Jasper. So then this year, the 2025 finalists get to go visit Bloomfield in far north Queensland, where we were really lucky to give that community grant too. So it's, yeah, there's heaps of experiences and it's a journey. So definitely get involved if you can.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. So throughout your career, so we're coming up on 18 years now, what has been your biggest learning throughout your career?
I would have to say just understanding that relationships are at the cornerstone of everything we do. In insurance, like, we're often perceived as like a finance industry and like a finance driven landscape from the outside, and optics appears that we are within the finance industry. However, once you're involved in the insurance industry, you'll realize that it is very much driven and based on trust, rapport, knowledge, and relationships. Building strong connections with clients and your industry peers is essential, and I think that forms the foundation of long-term success. Secondly, I think mentorship also would have been invaluable earlier on in my career. I waited a little bit too long to ask for help, and I feel like, well, not help, but just a degree of guidance, especially on strategy and technical items, and how to navigate complex situations. And so I feel like if I'd asked earlier, it would have accelerated my growth. And now, like, I have a number of mentors that I can rely on. And in the insurance industry, if you are a young broker out there and you're thinking, okay, I don't really have anybody to go to, it might not necessarily be within your within the company that you work for, but I guarantee you, if I ask them, like, if you ask someone was to come to me and be like, okay, can you help me with this, or can you mentor with me with this, or if you would ask any other industry experienced professional, they would love it. They would love the opportunity to nurture that talent coming through.
Amazing. And how would you educate someone who might be feeling that way that you did earlier on in your career about approaching someone for that mentorship piece? What piece of advice would you give them?
It's a bit different now because we are in a digital age,
Yes.
and I would have had to call somebody. Email I still could have. So that to me was scary, and my advice on that front would be just to back yourself and, like, what do you got to lose, really? Them saying no when your feelings get hurt, like, you can recover. If you now, like, there's LinkedIn now, there's like so many more avenues where you could just send a quick message and just say, would you be open to a chat? I think it's key to be honest with yourself of what type of mentorship that you are seeking, whether it's leadership, people management, technical skills. And then also, yeah, to still wear my NEBA hat, there is a mentorship official program that NEBA does provide that you can apply for and put a submission in, and then they will team you up with a mentor that has also applied and to willing to give the time. So there's a number of different avenues. But if I was to summarize it to somebody out there, it was just really to just back yourself and push the boundaries and give it a go.
Amazing, thank you. I think that's some great advice for the younger generation of brokers that are coming through. So thank you. So moving on to our next question then. So you're heavily involved with NEBA, you're heavily involved with young insurance professionals as the director. What can we be expecting to see from both organisations this year?
Sure. Well, I'm the president of the Canberra branch. Justin's the president Australasia, and he's unreal as well. He, to answer your question, NEBA and YIPS, like big things this year, because we really want to focus on elevating our profession. We really want to focus on our community and create some worthwhile events. ACT has also now got a NEBA subdivision, a committee that will be launching our very first NEBA member update. So stay tuned if you are a broker in Canberra or the South Coast region that you'd like to join. In a constantly evolving landscape, it's our community that demonstrates that the strength of our profession just lies in the ability to work together. And I've said that often. It's just the community that we're a part of in sort of this rapidly evolving landscape. It's being able to talk to one another and to share insights and to connect socially. It still comes back to relationships, but I think it's essential, and we're really lucky to work in an industry that we can work together with one another. NEBA is our voice. They're our advocate for all the brokerage broker members out there and our profession. And there's plenty of opportunity with the upcoming state gala lunches. And the nominations for the Young Broker of the Year and the Broker of the Year are still open. So yeah, if you do know any sort of trailblazers out there that deserves to be recognised, make sure that you put a nomination in. I think that was it. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you. That's great. So we can expect to see a lot of exciting things coming out of both NEBA and YIPS this year.
Yeah, and I mean, if you really look at the time, right, we're like almost in April. Like, how crazy is that? We're still like, you feel like Christmas was yesterday. So time's moving so fast, and before you know it, we'll be celebrating another Christmas. So it's really important to just book out your calendar, attend that event. Like, you never know who you're going to meet or what you're going to learn.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree. Time goes so quickly. I think the older we get, the quicker the time goes. Hey.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time today. So the last thing I'd love to ask you and for you to share with the community. So what's the biggest piece of advice you could give to young and upcoming brokers within the industry?
I still would like have that whole back yourself, and like it took me a long time to learn how to advocate for myself. And I think my natural fascination and curiosity is what has leveled me up as an insurance broker, because I love talking to clients about their business.
Yes.
And so I think if I was to summarize it all, it would just be ask the question. Like, you're thinking in your head, oh, is that the right question? Just ask it. Like, or you can even like preface it, I'm sorry, like for my naivety here, and then ask the question. So you just got to back yourself, ask the question, stay curious, push the boundaries and put yourself out there.
Yeah, I love that. No, thank you. Well, Emily, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with me this afternoon and share your experiences and your journey, and hopefully some value adds to the people in the industry. It's been really nice to chat with you, and I wish you a really successful year with everything that you've got going on, and really appreciate your time.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Nathan. I really appreciate the time and look forward to seeing more big stuff from Impact.
Thanks, Emily.